He's not as big as Hunter Pitts, but he's big on social media. He's big on The Athletic.
Kind of like a mashed potatoes guy.
He's a mashed potatoes guy. He's dripped up. You talk about fashion. Anthony Slater, good morning to you. Welcome to the Morning Roast here, courtesy of the Boxer Gerza guest line. Anthony Slater on 95.7 Game Insider. And Anthony, your drip has stepped up this year.
Why is that?
I don't know, man. He's got the nice haircuts. He's got the nice line, and he's never without a bad haircut. You got some fashion, man. You're fashionable, Slates.
Yeah, I'm about to go on a road trip, so, I don't know next time I can get a haircut. I don't like going more than 2 weeks.
Do you get haircuts on the road? Do you like the players do? You find a barber out of town. You're saying, hey, man.
He's got the personal guy.
Yeah, can you get the hotel? No, sometimes you got to venture out of the personal guy.
Well, I don't like to. Now, there are some cities I can, particularly Oklahoma City, because I live there, right? If you live somewhere, you typically know somebody. This trip, I could theoretically go to the Atlanta Hawks arena. They have a barbershop in the arena. I think it costs like over 100, but yeah.
You can holler at Grant Liftman. He'll hook you up, right?
Probably. His cut's usually pretty tight. Nice fade up there.
He's getting big money down there in Atlanta. Grant Liftman running things. Maybe he'll make a trade.
By the way, big week for Grant Liftman and the Hawks, so I don't know if he's going to have time to set me up with the barber. I'll figure some things out there.
They do. That display of defense last Friday against Luka was absolutely embarrassing. It's the worst collective defense I've seen in a very long time in the NBA. That's saying something. But look, let's get to Jonathan Kuminga, because you just sent the tweet out back at 7:49. I didn't realize this. He's got 7 straight games in which he scored at least 20 points. But you just tweeted out, Anthony, Jonathan Kuminga has 108 points the last 7 games. That's tied for 6th in the NBA behind Şengün, Jokic, Giannis, Brunson, and Jaren Jackson. He's at 25.5 during his stretch, 25 points per game. He's crashing the glass. Kuminga is taking that third-year leap. And you know what? I think his days of being out of the rotation are long gone.
Forget out of the rotation. I remember talking to you guys about this, about his content level with the Warriors, and part of it was he believes he's a 30-minute plus per game player. He's not in the rotation, but playing 15 minutes anymore, right? There was moments. Well, let's theoretically say Gary Payton comes back, Moses Moody comes back, Chris Paul comes back. They're still, remember that was the log jam we talked about the first few months of the season? Mm-hmm. That still shouldn't impact Jonathan Kuminga's, nightly minutes being at least at 28 to 30. Starting in this new starting lineup, that's the big thing to me. Because, he did have that one weird, about to be a DNP against Portland, and then he shows up in the second half. But, no, this guy it does something this team doesn't have. He's one of the more elite paint guys in the league. Now, they've had to kind of groom his game to get to this point. Steph Curry, I thought, made an interesting comment last night. There was the one play, and I highlighted it in what I wrote, but Nick Nurse doubles Curry late, off Kuminga. Curry throws it over to Kuminga, catch, go to the rim, score. And Nick Nurse is like, that used to work against Steph Curry. Well, it didn't because of Kuminga, and Curry made the point, hey, 2 months ago, that might have been pump fake, hesitation, look for a jumper, doesn't know what he's doing. Now it's just catch and go. And when it's catch and go with him, he's one of the best guys in the league in the restricted area, because he has been in January.
Yeah, and I think there was this misnomer that Wiggins and Kuminga couldn't play on the floor together, but the key was having Draymond Green at the 5. And I think the dirty little secret that all Warrior fans have known forever is hey, the Warriors are their best when Draymond plays small ball 5, period. Other combinations can work, but they've always been at their best when he plays small ball 5. So put Kuminga and Wiggins to the side. In years past, I get it. You were a 60-win team. You didn't want to wear him down, blah, 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 blah. I'm paying this guy $25 million a year, and they have to scrap to get into the playoffs. From here on out, it's Draymond at the small ball 5 to start games and for the majority of games, correct?
Yes. Draymond said it himself last night. We kind of asked about, the wear and tear it might put on you, and he made the number one point, hey, I'm not going to play Embiid and Jokic every night. This is not a league filled with, Brontosaurus type centers, number one. But number two, he's we're 20 and 24. It's not a time to worry about load management, wear and tear, or, Steph Curry's minute load, any of that. It's we got to win every game. So yeah, to your point, and Steve Kerr said it last night, he's committed to this lineup, which clearly, and I've thought this for a while, is their highest ceiling two-way starting 5, considering the 2 wings, Draymond at center and the 2 guards. And they'll close that way. And, Kevon Looney's minutes, I don't know, what was he at last night, about 7 or so?
8 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. Trace Jackson Davis is emerging more into the backup center, it seems. And Yeah, I think it's going to be 30-ish minutes tonight and Draymond at the 5, which is like that. It's the identity of a team that didn't have an identity, right?
Yep. No, you're spot on with that one. Anthony Slater here on the Morning Roast, courtesy of the Boxer and Girls and Guest Line. Our 95.7 The Game Insider does a hell of a job for the Athletic, cover the Golden State Warriors. Hell, he covers the entire league. He's that good. Andrew Wiggins. So let's stay on this trio here, J.K., Draymond, and now Andrew Wiggins. And certainly Steve Kerr mentioned last night that he believes Wiggins has been solid for the last month. He's been trending this way over his last 5, double figures, 6 of his last 7, double figures. And the efficiency yesterday, 8 of 10 from the floor. He was 6 of 6 from the free throw line. And it looks like his aggressiveness is coming back on the defensive end as well, Anthony. This is a good sign for the Golden State Warriors if Wiggs could continue to string games like this.
How many just like layups, point blank layups did he miss in the first couple months?
Oh,
all of them,
yeah.
every single one.
Yes, where the play materialized just like any plays you would have seen in the last 5 games. He gets to the rim. It's a lefty layup over a not great contest, and it just rolls off the rim or clanks or whatever. Or he's trying to get to 8 foot out, or maybe even get to the rim, and it's he kind of loses his dribble off his leg, and then he does the whole kind of clap his hands together. Like, where's my rhythm?
Right.
That's gone. He looks like he's back. He's not. We're not calling him 2022 playoff Andrew Wiggins, but he's like looks back to like normal regular season Andrew Wiggins. Which even in the Minnesota, he was worse this season than he ever was in the Minnesota days. So the fact that is back is a huge deal for this team. Obviously, he's now part of their starting and closing 5. He's done it prior to the trade deadline, which I think is, potentially saved his future with the Warriors. If he's chipping in 18 per game, he's playing pretty good defense. Like he's a solid player at a reasonable price tag.
What do we got? 7-8 days till the trade deadline? Is that correct?
Next Thursday.
Okay. Anything happening?
Look, I kind of tried to sum it up in an article I put out yesterday. If anybody wants like the full grasp of why it's
where can
it's
you
a good
where can you see that article?
No, it's a really good article at theathletic.com. Just type in Anthony Slater. I read it. Was it Sunday or Monday? Did you come out with it Monday?
When did I put it out? I put it out yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning, yep.
Summarize.
So it's they're trapped a little bit, because they, first of all, even though they're 19 and 24, now 20 and 24, there is absolutely no incentive to tank. Where some teams in this situation, the Atlanta Hawks, as we were just talking about, are incentivized to go get a better pick, just kind of reset what they're doing. We know that the Warriors are not going to do that. They have Steph Curry, number 1, and they've also traded away their first-round pick. It's in Portland now as part of that Iguodala move way back in the day. So they're not going to do that. So then it's like, all right, we'll go, kind of hit the speed forward button and go all in, maybe like the Lakers did last year with the Westbrook deal at the deadline to turn them around. But the problem for the Warriors this season has not been their depth. It's been their number 2, number 3, number 4 type guys, right? Draymond not available because of suspension. Clay, he just isn't quite what he used to be. Wiggins is in the deepest slump that we've ever seen from him. It's hard. It's hardest to trade, especially at the deadline, for a number 2 or a number 3 than like, a 6, 7, 8 guy depth-wise. So to me, it's not an easy fix for the Warriors. Siakam profiled as potentially the best guy they could get to fill that, number 2 type role next to Steph Curry. He's gone. He went to Indianapolis. They tried to get in on that. They didn't. I think they're like, they might be active, although they're kind of dampering expectations on that. Again, like I think there's contracts to move, but I'm not sure what's there that's going to, significantly change their situation more than like internal growth right now from the guys that were struggling.
Well, it could be some just moves around the margins. What if the Utah Jazz, because they've been inconsistent with a guy like Walker Kessler, for example. I'm just throwing him out there. This guy who's young, he's making $2.5 million per year. You'd have to match a contract because Looney's out of the rotation. And right now, Kessler looks like the better player. You think any little moves like that may be intriguing to the Warriors and Mike Dunleavy?
I'll say this. I think center and wing are priority over guard. I think we all know. Center particularly, yeah. I mean, like, Trace Jackson-Davis looks intriguing, but he's still, not quite, polished.
Right.
I think Looney's rotation spot, as we mentioned, is definitely up for grabs. Walker Kessler's too ambitious, I think, from you, because He's still in his second year. He's still a kind of elite rim protector. I think Utah's pretty protective of that type of young talent. The guys I would look at, like Nick Claxton's on an expiring deal in Brooklyn.
Yep.
You don't know about his future. Clint Capella on this Atlanta team that might rebuild if that's a name that interests you. Wendell Carter in Orlando has kind of he's on a reasonable price tag. Orlando's kind of trying to figure out what they want to do moving forward. At times early in the season, they were better with Goga Batadze at center. Maybe Batadze is another name. I believe he's an unrestricted free agent. Those are some of those marginal centers out there you were talking about. I like Wendell Carter as a possible fit, but we'll see what you would need to do to get that done. Do you need to attach a pick to Looney's contract, something like that? So there are names. The wing I like probably the most in that bargain bin is Bogdanovich from Detroit. Detroit's 6-40. He would juice their offense a little bit, but defense is the problem.
Yeah.
So there are names though.
There are names. All right, real quick before we let you go, and I know you're going to go out on the road, so we'll talk to you next week when you'll be by the time next Wednesday, you'll be in Philadelphia, and we'll see about Joel Embiid's status, and Maxey should be back there, but that'll be, the fourth game of a 5-game road trip coming up, and it's pretty huge for the Warriors going into the break, but Super Bowl thoughts. What are your thoughts about the Niners, man, outlasting the Detroit Lions? Give us your take on that, Slates.
I was kind of giggling at halftime, ready to come on the show and have a Tua versus Brock Purdy discussion, but I don't think that's going to happen. So, I think first of all, as a viewer, there we go. Hey, 2 straight years in the playoffs. Haven't done that in a couple decades. No, but I'm excited for the matchup. Right? Are you guys getting flashbacks or concerns? Would you have rather played the Ravens? I'll ask that.
No, I think the Ravens are a tougher matchup for the 49ers, which sounds insane. It sounds insane. I just think they match up better with the 49ers.
I'll speak for myself. Beggars can't be choosers. I'll take anyone in the Super Bowl. I'm not choosy, just happy to be there and very lucky to be there. Doesn't matter.
Joe Chasky, where was your mental health at halftime?
I don't know if you know this, but I was tweeting through it. I was talking about Kirk Cousins and Bill Belichick.
He was texting us this.
It was everything. I was as bad as I was Sunday was how bad Bonte was the week prior against Green Bay.
Kirk Cousins, that's a desperate state of affairs.
Slater, I was praying at halftime, and it wasn't so much that the Niners, pray that they come back and win. I wanted to make it competitive. But I was praying because I was dreading coming in on a Monday morning after a loss like that because what Shasky was texting in the group thread for this show.
All I said was everything's on the table. If you lose to the Detroit Lions by 17, now I'm going to I'm bringing in Belichick.
No, see, that's
Kirk
silly.
Cousins might be available. I'm sure Mac Jones is out there.
Slater, this is why I like you.
I know the phone clients would have been crazy.
Back in October when I said, hey, Detroit, you don't want to sleep on them. Everybody laughed at Dan Campbell. Everybody laughed at Jared Goff.
No one laughed. They beat Kansas City week 1.
No, you guys were laughing at them. You guys were laughing. And so I was dreading this show because think about that. Shanahan for 7 years has built this franchise up, and they're going to get rid of him for Bill Belichick?
They wouldn't actually do that. They would have Joe Shasky screaming for them to do that on the airwaves.
No. I wanted Belichick to come in and be DC.
That's not happening.
You know what? That's definitely what he would have done. He would have come in and be DC.
Hey, Kirk Cousins. Everything. So I was praying because I was dreading the show on Monday, but thankfully they came back in dramatic fashion. They won the game. They're going to Las Vegas.
Are y'all going to Vegas?
We'll be out there, Slater, but we won't get out there till Saturday. We're going to skip all the Radio Row stuff. We'll be there from Saturday to Tuesday.
I streamline my Super Bowl experiences.
Yeah, it's going to be a scene out there. I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. We got Warriors and Suns Saturday night. I'm flying straight out after that game.
I like that. There you go. That's some cross promo right there. Warriors always get that Saturday night before the Super Bowl.
You like that? Little Warriors, Suns, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker.
That. You like
and
that,
I like to keep my mind off the game. I like to, the Warriors are still the bread. It's Warriors and Niners, man. We gotta give the Warriors their due. They've given us 4 parades since 2015.
My favorite the Saturday night before the Sunday Super Bowl ABC game, I was covering the Thunder. Thunder came out to the Bay Area.
I remember that game
with KD.
Yep.
That was the year before he leaves. It was a great game, and then Durant stays over in the Bay Area.
Takes photos at the Super Bowl.
Takes photos at the Super Bowl for the Players Tribune, and then decides, I kind of like this Bay Area. pretty nice.
That game, Oklahoma City Thunder, they opened up with a 9-0 lead, and Kevin Durant had a three at the end of the game to tie it, and he missed it. And that's when I thought, ooh, the Warriors play OKC in the playoffs is going to be riveting. And you know what? It was. And then we stole Kevin Durant, and we stole Anthony Slater. Slates. Good stuff, man. Safe travels on the road, man. We'll be following your work. Have fun in Memphis and Atlanta, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.
All right, y'all.
All right. Anthony Slater, our 95.7 Game Insider, courtesy of the Boxer Girls and Guest Line.